Alrighty, this is my review for the quest Stranded. So let's get started by jumping straight on in. Jumping right on into the review. Wisrope by Wisrope. So yes, Stranded. What can I say about this? Well, right off the bat, I'm gonna give it a 0 out of 5 because it made me get the magic boomerang. All joking aside, let's see. Kind of like Linked to the Past, not Linked to the Past, but Linked to the Past. I believe this was made before it, though. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this. But if you recall Linked to the Past, we had like a lot of levels. A bunch of levels gave you an item, and then you'd have like the Triforce dungeon levels. And yeah, this is pretty much a lot like this. So, there are a bit of a differences as well. This isn't as big of a quest as Link to the Past. It doesn't have as many levels. Of course, that doesn't really make a good quest. I mean, this isn't like makes a good quest. Story-wise, yes. There isn't much story. Pretty much get to the end of all the. Basically, what you do is gotta get through all the fortresses, all the way to the end. Yeah. Actually, I don't think there was much of a story, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I beat this. That's why I need to reviews more often and real quickly. Overworlds, you got... Let's see, you got the one main overworld, you got an islands area, and then you've got, like, the last level-ish area overworlds, which, don't be surprised, what you might think is the last level isn't really. This is the second last level that you're seeing right now. I always go off on a tangent trying to do these. Bear with me, I'm not very good at reviewing stuff, so... Difficulty! Well, difficulty is pretty much... manageable. This dungeon is the last one, and it's actually really difficult, but by now you should have, like... Red ring, level 4 sword, everything. You get the gold ring here, by the way. So, it'll feel hard, but it's the last level. But earlier levels, it's really manageable. It's not really that difficult. The difficulty is pretty much on par. It's something I could get through. And since this is a review, in my opinion, if I think it's difficult and everyone doesn't, then I'm going to rate based on my playthrough and my experience. And my experience of this was, it was pretty well thought out. Well, I have a way with words, and I'm just doing this from my mind. The levels, yes, they are all... Like, you got the item levels, and they tend to be... Most of them tend to be shaped like the items you're getting, although a lot of them aren't, too. And they're all solely solely for just getting that particular item. And then you got the fortresses, which are the Triforce dungeon. They each have their own theme. To pull an example, I think the level 2, if I recall correctly, was the one where you had to think a bit more. The level 4, a money fortress. Oh, goody. Lovely little bubbles stealing your money and money going down the drain, then eventually getting money back. This one has summoners in almost every room. Although it's a final level, so you gotta expect that. So, dungeon design-wise, very creative. One thing which was kind of happening in Link to the Past a bit as well, as a lot of the rooms did feel a little empty inside, kind of like this room. It's just mostly kill enemies. It was the way for a lot of the other dungeons as well. It just maybe needed a little bit more stuff, like maybe some blocks or something. A lot of these rooms did feel empty throughout the quest, and you know, yeah. A lot of the overworld there's a bit to do in the overworld. Like when I play certain quests, I expect to find secrets all over the place. And this quest, like Link to the Past, does deliver on secrets. There are a lot of places you can find secrets and stuff. It's better reviewing. There's a lot you can find in the overworld, and there's a lot of backtracking. You can go back to when you start the game, you start on a little island. And there are some stuff you can do, and there's a lot of stuff you can't. You need, the hammer at one point. You need a better glove. That's also where the path to like the final area is. You need like the fire boomerang or something like that. So there's a lot of backtracking throughout the overworld, but if you want 100%, which I clearly don't have because I appear to be missing 3 heart pieces and probably a magic container as well. But there's definitely a lot of looking around. You do get the lens, so eventually you get the lens. I don't remember when you get the lens, but you do get it in this. Oh yeah, you get it like towards level 7 or something. So there is definitely that. I think this quest also has respawning bosses, which is it can be good if used correctly, but can also be terrible if used abusively. So yeah. What else? Is there anything else I need to mention about this quest? I enjoyed it. Well, yeah, clearly I'm enjoying it. I'm talking about a lot of positives and some negatives. But yeah, and this actually kind of goes for part of the overworld as well, like especially the towns. It's just some of these screens did feel kind of empty, and that's kind of a major downing point. But overall, I really did enjoy this quest. So I'm going to give this actually a final grade of a 4. I would probably give it a 4.5 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5. That would probably mean I would probably give it either a 4 or a 5 on the page. I'm not sure. I need to do a little more deliberation on that, but I probably gonna give it a 4 because the interiors of the dungeons definitely is a major part of it. Although some of the item levels did kind of feel a little boring. But for the most part, most of the levels were pretty good. So I'm going to give it a good solid 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5, that's still pretty good. Not perfect, but I enjoy playing your quests. I also heard that in your next quest you're making, you're not actually going to use the feather or the ladder. Yeah, I did kind of abuse the feather. I kind of really did. Maybe you should probably consider putting invisible walls around the edges of the water screens instead of just taking the feather. Because I actually kind of like the idea of the feather. It came as a shock when I played Link to the Past, but the feather, having the feather use magic kind of does balance it out. So you're not freakishly abusing it everywhere like I probably would. But I don't see any reason to take the feather. And the ladder I heard is like RCA 5 or something, does some kind of like weird thing with it. I wouldn't disable the ladder because of that. I would pretty much just yell at people to use the right version because holy crap, use the normal Zelda Classic version for God's sake. So yeah, this is just stuff over on RC a while back. So yeah, overall grade 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed this quest, and I can't wait to see what you come up with later. Did I mention this was made by Jamian? I think I should have. I think I didn't. This quest was made by Jamian. Can't wait to see what you can pump up next, because I actually do enjoy your quests. And I'm going to stop this and do another one.